may go up to say 20 GB per second, but it is not easy to implement such and networks at high frequencies. There are challenges also for providing reliable geographical coverage. The shorter broadcast distances and signal scattering effects will be there when we talk of these networks in the higher frequency range. And due to shorter broadcast distances, there will be requirement of more base stations and more network access points in the region, which than the access points we are seeing today, so which are existing today. Another challenge is that existing infrastructure can potentially create communication dead zones within cities. So there can be certain zones within the cities which are communication dead. So there is no communication possible. So if we are talking of fully connected smart city concepts, then or the fully connected networks, then these communication dead zones would cause challenges in fully implementing interconnected systems between buildings and electrical grids or end users or transportation services. So in addition to these interconnection challenges for open air systems, transitions between outdoor and indoor communications offer a particular challenge for upcoming 5G networks. And there will be reflections and scattering that will cause signal degradation. So basically, all this requires to incorporate base stations, access points, network signal repeaters into existing in urban infrastructures. So more number of different base stations, access points, or network signal repeaters will be required. But if we, but we have to if we need to incorporate these more devices, then it will not look good that every corner, every place is having these access points or what we can say the signal repeaters. So to do this is one way to do this is use of integrating transparent antennas. So we can use transparent antennas, optically transparent antennas. We can integrate this with the windows, and these antennas can be then used to provide data access to maybe pedestrians or the vehicles that pass by. And by integrating these antennas with the existing infrastructure, we can solve the problem of wireless network needs of 5G. And also the major advantage is that if we use such transparent antennas as part of normal infrastructures like uh, windows pane can be used as antenna, so that will not affect the look. So aesthetically, so use of transparent antennas will remain neutral. So these 5G and smart cities offer greater interconnectivity among end users and infrastructures. But this greater connectivity also poses a challenge of security. So there will be need of enhanced security. So for that, we can use glass embedded frequency selective services, which can be used anywhere that requires transparency as well as microwave filtering. So we can use like in place of window glass, we can use glass embedded frequency selective services. For example, for hospitals and say Homeland Security Agency, so they can use these FSs for blocking the 5G frequencies, so that way they can enhance the security. And even another important thing is that say maybe hospital is using wireless communication among different buildings within the campus, so they may not be interested in receiving of those wireless waves outside the hospital or premises, or this is true for any organization. So they can use frequency selective services at the boundaries or at the windows of the different what we can say the buildings, and that way they can secure communication within their organization, and they can limit the access to the internal communication, and outside world will not be able to access the internal communication. So we can use transparent antennas in these different scenarios. So the transparent antennas, initially, this was developed in response to the need for transparent windshield embedded antennas, so that provide radio reception and even wireless mobile network. So we can see that nowadays most of the cars have roof mounted antennas. So earlier there was hood mounted antennas. The very long antennas were there in the, what we can say, the our automobiles or cars. So nowadays we have these hood mounted small antennas. So basically transparent antennas which are windshield embedded. So that was need of those types of antennas was the initially the need of transparent antennas, because if we are using windshield for antenna purposes also, then that will not use of transparent antenna over windshield will not hinder the automobile aerodynamically or aesthetically. So the looks of the vehicle will remain same aerodynamically as well as aesthetically, while at the same time it will provide radio and network access. Another important application of transparent antennas, or matching application of transparent antennas, is in solar cell integration for satellite communication. So the CubeSat, where we have a small satellite of size 10 into 10 into 10 centimeter cube. So CubeSat, this is a major innovation in satellite technology. So we have very small satellite, which is a full functional satellite. So due to its small size, it requires innovative approaches to optimize onboard power, onboard communication, and other sensory system requirements. So one innovation in this domain is that we can use transparent antennas. We can install transparent antennas which can be overlaid on solar panel. So it will allow maximum power harvesting, as well as it will provide satellite to ground communication, and it will reduce the payload. So another application which we have just discussed is that we can use optically transparent antennas and filters for smart city applications. We have just discussed that this smart city concept seeks to ease urban challenges that include infrastructure and network capacity. So the problem of network dead zones in 5G requires shorter broadcast distances. So we need to increase the access points and signal repeaters, and we can use these optically transparent antennas. We can embed these antennas with the existing infrastructure. So that is the major upcoming application of these optically transparent antennas. So there are four different kinds of materials which can be used for designing transparent antennas. So first is use of transparent metal oxide film. For example, we have earlier also discussed this name of ITO film. So we can use such transparent metal oxide films. So, but in this case, a compromise must be made between the light transmittance and the surface impedance. So as we increase the transparency of the antenna, so that will affect the different parameters, as we'll be discussing in the following slides. Another possibility is that we can use conductive polymers such as silver coated polyester film, so which is in short written as AGHT, or multi-layer thin film. So we can use such polymers for developing transparent antennas. So in this case, we have better connectivity but worse transmittance. Third option is we can use ultra thin metal film, maybe made of copper, silver, or gold, or any other metal conductor. We can use such ultra thin films for designing transparent antennas. So these ultra thin films result in high radiation efficiency, but very low light transmittance. So what their transparency of light is very small. So then fourth option is metal mesh antennas. So we can use metal mesh antennas, so which offer higher radiation efficiency. Light transmittance efficiency is higher than that of the ultra thin metal films. But in this case, these antennas require very high processing technology. So that is the another point which is affecting the use of metal mesh antenna. So out of these four, metal mesh antennas and oxide film based antennas. So those are popular. Now many antennas have been proposed. So these two major designs are very popular in the field of transparent antennas, mesh antennas, and thin film antennas. So we will be going through these different antennas in somewhat more details. So these two types offer high optical transparency. So we'll first discuss meshed antennas. So these meshed antennas are fabricated using traditional metal-based conductors such as copper or silver. And these meshed antennas have patterned holes or gaps within the antenna topology. So those holes or gaps allow the transmission of light, and there's introduced transparency in the antenna structure. So patches with solid ground planes, meshed patches with meshed ground plane, planar monopoles, and coplanar topologies. So these are the many topologies which have been explored for meshed transparency. So this figure shows some of the meshed antennas, optically transparent meshed antennas. So we can see that these antennas are optically transparent. So there is a first antenna in which we have mesh structure of metal in the for the radiator as well as for the ground plane. Then we have second mesh antenna which is designed for wireless local area network. So this is the again transparent antenna. Then this is micro metal mesh MIMO antenna which has two ports. Then this is meshed monopole antenna for ultra high frequency communication. So this is another optically transparent antenna. Then we have this rectangular meshed patch antenna, which is designed for very high frequency 24 gigahertz. Then this is an example of circularly polarized rectangular meshed antenna. This is also for 24 gigahertz frequency. Then this is again a single element proximity fed meshed patch antenna, which is designed for 2.45 gigahertz. So this way we can see that in literature we have many examples of meshed optically transparent antennas. So when we are using these meshed antennas, so these meshed antennas take traditional topologies, and here conductor is meshed to the desired transparency. We are making holes or patterns in the conductor to make the antenna transparent. However, when we make these holes or patterns in the solid patches, so their performance of the antenna will change. So the efficiency, different parameters of antenna will get affected. So we need to analyze so what is the effect of introducing the holes or the patterns or the making the antenna transparent on the different parameters of antenna. So we need a trade-off between antenna performance and the meshing characteristics, and we need to arrive at a acceptable solution. Then first trade-off in performance is associated with antenna gain. So we can see on this figure that this is a solid rectangular patch antenna which has been converted to meshed optically transparent antenna. So this is basically meshing. This diagram shows the meshing of the rectangular patch. So in this we can see in this meshed antenna, this consists of M lines of thickness TW. Then there are N lines on this side, and thickness of each line is TL. So thickness of these lines, which is denoted by TW and TL, so that will decide the transparency of the antenna as compared to the totally solid antenna. So we can calculate this transparency of the antenna using this simple relation: area of solid minus area of mesh divided by area of solid. So this will give us the percentage transparency of the meshed antenna. So we can use this relation, simple relation for calculation of the meshed antenna transparency. So this, this is one example of the again transparent antenna, meshed antenna in a rectangular as well as in circular mode. So we, in the literature, there are studies which have proposed that as the transparency of the rectangular increases, the antenna's gain decreases. So that is expected because we know that majorly the gain depends upon the metal area. So when we are mashing, so we are removing the metal. So that will expected to decrease the gain of the antenna. So we are discussing this first trade-off, change in antenna gain. And these scientists, the team of scientists led by Jessen, so they fabricated several copper patch antennas with various transparencies and analyzed the gain. So this is one particular example that in one case they had a solid antenna of 7.32 dBi gain. So when they changed the transparency of the antenna from 70 to 95%, the gain decreased from 6.5 to 4.90 dBi. So gain decreases as the transparency of the antenna is increased. Similarly, decrease in gain was 0.8 to uh, 0.8 and 2.42 dBi for 70 and 95% transparency for this second structure, which we have shown here. And this type of results have been obtained by other scientists also, like this Arihelo presented that their transparency, when they disturb the transparency, the gain, gain decreased in the uh, what we can say the directly proportional. So it is not exactly linear, but directly proportional to the size of the ratio of the transparency to the solid of the solidity of the patch. Then another trade-off for these meshed antennas is resonant frequency. So studies have been conducted for analyzing this effect of the transparency on the resonant frequencies. And in one of the study, Clazen and Langley, they studied this relationship for a solid patch antenna radiating at 1.48 gigahertz. They matched antenna to various transparencies between 10 to 75% value of the transparency. And they observed that there is a 10% transparency. The resonant frequency of the antenna was 1.46 as compared to 1.48 for the solid antenna. As they increased the transparency, the antenna frequency uh, decreased. So 1.25 gigahertz frequency was observed for the 75% of the transparency. But this relationship was not linear. So this frequency, resonant frequency decreased with the increase of transparency. This was not linear. But this particular trend uh, can be used for designing smaller antenna footprints. So we can use this increased transparency. So we can see that increased transparency requires smaller antenna footprint to remain at the required resonant frequency. That means, say, if we want to design antenna at 1.25 gigahertz, solid antenna at 1.25 gigahertz, then that antenna will have large dimensions as compared to the this transparent antenna at 1.25, because the solid antenna of this size is working at 1.48. So if we want to design any antenna at frequency than 1.25, then the size will increase. But this optical introduction of meshes can result in smaller frequencies with the same size. So this particular characteristic can be used for designing small antennas, miniaturized antennas, which are another requirements, which is one of the another requirements for designing modern systems. So the category of antennas is thin film antennas. So in thin film antennas, the transparency is due to the material. So the material used is a thin film. So in mesh antennas, it was a structure which was resulting in transparency. But in here, in this case, it is the material that have high optical transparency and low electrical resistivity. So this transparency is due to these materials. A large variety of materials is used for these antennas. So these materials include conductive inks, conductive polymers, such as silver-coated polyester film. So as we have discussed that, under the four materials, so we can consider this silver-coated polyester film as separate category, or we can consider under this thin film category of antennas. So this general name thin film antennas also include those two types. So transparent conductive oxide, in short, these called TCOs. So this is one of the popular approach which is used for designing these thin film antennas. So we'll be focusing on the use of TCOs for designing thin film antennas. So TCOs, these TCOs include a very popular indium tin oxide, then fluorine doped tin oxide, aluminum doped zinc oxide, or gallium doped zinc oxide. So these are the other types of TCOs which have been used for designing these optically transparent antennas. And these materials have shown that they have a great potential for designing of these optically transparent antennas, because uh, they have low resistivity and high transparency in the visible range. So out of different TCOs, the ITO, which is uh, commonly used for used in flat screen monitors, LEDs, or photovoltaic cells. So this ITO has found use as a material for transparent antenna. So successfully, this ITO has been used for designing transparent antenna. So this is ITO is an excellent transparent conductor, so which can design efficient antennas. But there is a expected shortage of indium in very near future. So if we go through the studies, so there was around 27% increase in size, increase in price of indium between during the 2010 and 2014. So there is a search going on for the alternative materials which can be used in place of indium. So this AGO, aluminum based zinc oxide, and gallium doped zinc oxide, so these are considered as the most promising candidates. So these also have high optical transparency and low resistivity as comparable to the ITO. Even in the from the literature, we can find the comparison of physical properties of highly conductive TCOs. So ITO, AGO, and this gallium-based zinc oxide. So these has been compared on different parameters. So and AGO and this gallium-based zinc oxide. So these have been observed that their properties are similar to ITO. So here this carrier concentration is a major factor in deciding the different characteristics of the material, as we will be discussing these trade-offs of these characteristics. So any which is the carrier concentration or the electron concentration. So this is an important factor in deciding the various properties of the materials. In the literature we have antennas, optically transparent antennas, which has been recently proposed using both AGO and this GGO, so aluminum based zinc oxide, as well as gallium doped zinc oxide. So these among these demonstration, there are many different topologies which has been explored. The patches, patches, thin film coplanar patches, dipoles, thin film bow ties, monopoles, the PIFA antenna and slots. So all these common type of topologies have been explored for the design of transparent antennas. So here this diagram shows some of the examples of thin film transparent antenna. So we can see the transparency level is very high. So we are almost able to see the background very clearly using the transparent antenna. So this first figure shows the coplanar wavelight fed this antenna, monopole antenna. Then second antenna is again coplanar wavelight fed dual band antenna, which is working on 2.4 and 5.8 gigahertz. This is a meander dipole polymer antenna. Then next is again coplanar waveguide transparent antenna. Then this is an antenna which is based on the indium zinc tin oxide, and this is a combination of indium and zinc has been used for designing Wi-Fi antenna. Then we have this antenna which is used, this rectangular antenna which is designed only ITO. So these antennas have been designed with a combination of indium and zinc, and this is designed only ITO, indium tin oxide. So such types of designs of transparent antennas can be implemented using these thin film based materials. So when we want to design these antennas using thin film, so there are certain challenges. So these are not, we need to take care of those challenges. So the first is that the TCO film should be thin enough to be transparent in the visible range, and it should be thick enough to operate efficiently in microwave range. So we know that the optical properties of a material depend upon the wavelength of the light. So there is a concept of plasma frequency. So material is transparent, dielectric. So for the frequencies which are higher than the plasma frequency, and similarly at the frequencies lower than the plasma frequency, a material behaves as a metal. So using this plasma frequency relation, so we can check the different characteristics. So which this plasma frequency again depends upon the electron concentration. So we can change the electron concentration, and we can somewhat change the this plasma frequency, and we can design our material as per the required frequency range. Also, different parameters affect the conductivity and efficiency of the material which we use for designing antennas. For example, we can see in this figure that conductivity of TCO as a function of wavelength for a wide spectral range. So we can see that TCOs are transparent insulators in visible spectrum because mainly due to their low conductivity at optical frequencies. So they are transparent insulators in the visual spectrum range. And this is the this is the reason that TCO films of a few micrometer in thickness offer sufficient transparency for visible light. So such characteristics we need to study if we want to use material for the particular design of antenna. Another parameter is that this optical transparency T, this reduces exponentially as the film thickness increases. So as we increase the film thickness, the transparency will decrease. So that means the thickness should be very small. So this relation is given between the transparency and film thickness. So we can see that this film thickness is related to the skin depth as well as absorption coefficient. So this tau and alpha are involved in calculation of transparency of the antenna. The skin depth for optical wavelengths we can determine, and if we determine this, we have the mass of electron, the permittivity values, and the optical frequencies. All these factors come into picture while deciding the skin depth of the antenna. And absorption coefficients for ITO and different doped zinc oxide films are similar, and thus we can use comparable frequency levels, comparable transparency levels. So in place of ITO, we can use different doped zinc oxide films because their absorption coefficients are similar. So if we go through this particular diagram, so here we can see that this diagram shows the transparency of ITO and gallium doped film versus the film thickness. So this particular diagram shows this between gallium comparison between the doped zinc oxide and indium tin oxide ITO transparency versus film thickness. So the thickness depends. We can see the thickness depends of thickness dependence of the optical frequency. So if we calculate this, so for ITO and this gallium doped zinc oxide, so it depends upon the carrier concentration values also. So carrier concentration values have been shown as 1, 2, 3, 4. So different colors are showing these different carrier concentration values. So and these affect further the conductivity. So instead of simply taking those values, so conductivity has been taken into account. So we can see that concentration affects both transparency and conductivity. So understanding of the relationship between this is very important if we want to use this material for design of antennas. So high conductive TCOs are preferable for antennas, but skin depth decreases with the increasing material conductivity. So all these factors we need to keep in mind when we want to design these antennas. The next point is antenna efficiency as a function of film thickness. So from this diagram, we can see that efficiency increases as the thickness of the film increases. So, but antenna's efficiency decreases with its increasing length to width ratio. So there are two parameters which have been studied using from this graph. We can observe that antenna efficiency increases as the thickness of the film increases. But we have earlier seen that as the thickness of film increases, transparency level will decrease. So so this is a trade-off, whether we want more efficient antenna or whether we want more optically transparent antenna. Also, the length to width ratio of the antenna affects the efficiency. Even for the same thickness, if length to width ratio is more, then the antenna efficiency will be less. Another parameter for determining the film antenna efficiency is the resonant frequency. At what frequency we are using this particular antenna. So for a given material conductivity, lower skin depths can be achieved by increasing the frequency of operation. So if we want to use the antenna at higher frequency of operation, then we can achieve lower skin depths. And skin depth is very important because when we want to design these transparent antennas, the film thickness should be some multiples of skin depth. So if skin depth is more, then that will require more thicker uh, film for the antenna, and thicker is the film thickness of the film will further affect the transparency of the antenna. But if we are designing antenna at high frequencies, then that results in lower skin depth. So this figure shows plot of antenna efficiency versus microwave frequency for the range between 1 to 50 gigahertz. So we can see as the resonant frequency increases, the antenna efficiency also increases. But the increase in the efficiency is at the decreased rate. So it is not a very large or linear exponential increase. But increase is there. But when the length of the antenna increases with respect to width, that means L by W ratio, so the antenna efficiency decreases drastically. So length to width ratio of the antenna is also important parameter in designing optically transparent antennas. These are different parameters which we need to analyze when we want to use thin films for design of optical antennas. So now we'll go through one case study of designing antennas and frequency selective surfaces using this gallium doped zinc oxide. So the main purpose of this discussion or this experiment was to study the efficacy of the gallium doped zinc oxide as a material for transparent antenna. So here the epitaxy technique is used for developing the films. So epitaxy means this is the type of crystal growth or material deposition in which new crystalline layers are formed with a well-defined orientation and with respect to the crystalline substrate. So in the development of the antennas which we are going to discuss, so this epitaxy type of procedure was used for developing the films. So even further, this exactly the plasma enhanced molecular beam epitaxy type of technique has been used, has been proposed by researchers. So this work I have taken from one of the reference. So they have used this particular approach for developing the antenna, and they used one particular substrate which is named as C-spire substrate with epsilon r equal to 10, and the thickness of the substrate is 375 micrometer. So these diagrams shows the two frequency selective surfaces designed on the said substrate using the gallium doped zinc oxide layer. So first, this side is designed for the band pass operation. This side is designed for the band stop operation. So band pass filter and band stop filter working between this 23 to 29 gigahertz frequencies have been designed, and they have used the Jerusalem cross topology for both filters. In band pass filter, in this side, so we can see that we have a solid gallium doped this zinc oxide layer with the Jerusalem cross opening etched in the film. So these are the openings. So this shows the film. Similarly, on this side, this is band stop filter. This is stop. So we can see that the pattern has been inverted. So in place of the film, now we have slot, and where we have the slot in this particular structure. So now we have the that pattern here in that portion. So this resulted in two different frequency selective surfaces. And for designing the antenna, because they have to fit the antenna in that 2-inch diameter circle footprint, so the size of the substrate was 2 inch in diameter. So that they have to design a small antenna. So they have proposed this hourglass topology for the antenna. So they used this type of structure for designing the antenna. So this is basically the dimensions are 40.7 mm by 26.4 mm. So this was the size of the antenna which has been designed. So these FSS and antennas has been designed using HFSS software. So the use of HFSS software has been proposed for the simulation and design of these different surfaces and antennas. They also, after the simulations, they fabricated this antenna and the filters. Then the photolithography process has been used for fabrication of the proposed antennas and the filters. So the standard procedure involves these different steps of pattern generation in photoresist and the exposure, then development and etching. So we can see that these different steps. So gallium zinc oxide wafer has been deposited over the substrate, then a photoresist layer has been added, then the UV light is used for the exposure to a mask, then photoresist exposed has been removed, so we got the structure. Then this HCl solution has been used to remove the photoresist layer, and we had the final structure. So this standard photolithography process has been used for the fabrication. So this basically figure shows the actual fabricated band pass filter. So we can see that the logo behind the filter is clearly visible. So we have water clear or crystal clear transparency. So we are even not able to see the pattern of the filter. So this particular circular structure is the band pass filter, which has been fabricated using the procedure which we have just discussed. So similarly, the other filter and antenna was fabricated. And then the fabricated antenna and the filters were measured, the characteristics were measured using the VNA. And what they proposed, the researcher proposed that they observed the similar pattern, but there was a small shift in the result. So the shift, they analyzed that this is mainly due to the perfection in the SMA feeding and due to the problem in controlling the thickness of the film. So these are very critical parameters in case of antennas, optically transparent antennas using these ECOs, that we need to control the skin depth very precisely. Also, the feeding of the optically transparent antenna is also a challenge because that will affect the response of measured frequency. Similarly, they analyzed the bandpass filter and bandstop filter performance using the experimental setup, and they found that there was experimental results, which indicates that the both filters perform the design functionality. So here we can see that this is the resonance for the band pass filter, and this is the resonance for the band stop filter. So we can see that at the desired frequency, they had the desired insertion minimum and maximum insertion losses as per the corresponding filter characteristics. So this study of the experimental results of the proposed filter and antenna have shown that there is a correlation between the simulated and the experimental results. So such topologies are viable for TCO conductors. So we can use this gallium doped zinc oxide as an alternative transparent conductor. So the whole purpose of this study was to study this efficacy of this gallium doped zinc oxide as an alternative to ITO. So with this, now we are moving towards the conclusion of our today's talk. So what we have discussed the history and the motivation behind developing optically transparent antennas. We have discussed that initial motivation for designing transparent windshield antennas. Then there was motivation for designing antennas which can be implanted over solar panels, mainly for satellite communication. Now this renewed motivation is that optically transparent antennas can be applied to 5G and smart city applications by embedding these transparent antennas into windows and windshields. So this will offer appealingly neutral access points. So access points will not be so visible, so those will be not irritating type of thing if we are using these optically transparent structures. For example, if we are using window embedded antennas, so if we are using other circuitry, amplifier, routing mechanisms, so these can be implied signal repeaters as well. So we can we can remove the problem of communication dead zones by designing optical transparent based antennas. So we have discussed two methods of making antenna transparent. So one include the metal meshing conductors, and second we discuss the TCOs. But mainly we have focused on the TCOs. So we have gone through the one case study of using TCO as a material for antenna, and we have seen that TCOs can be used as a promising material for designing transparent antenna. But in case of designing optically transparent antennas, use of TCO involves challenges which we need to achieve using a reasonable trade-off between antenna efficiency and transparency. So we have discussed that as the film thickness is increased, the transparency is decreased, and so the thickness must be minimized. But the thinner the film is, the more resistive the film is. So the less efficient is the antenna. These are trade-off which we need to address. Also, we have observed that thin film antennas are more efficient at higher frequencies due to skin depth effects. So the thin film antennas are natural selections for higher frequency ranges which are going to be used in the 5G communication. And we have also discussed the potential of this gallium doped zinc oxide based thin film for designing antennas and optically transparent the filters or the frequency selective surfaces. So what we have seen is that promising results are there, but challenges also exist. So if we want to design these optically transparent antennas, then we researchers must overcome these challenges. So optical transparent antennas could allow for the realization of smart cities, which is a major goal of 5G networks. So applications range from windshield communication for self-driving cars to the IoT. Even beyond the scope of smart cities, these transparent antennas can also be used for other commercial and medical applications. For example, these transparent antennas can be embedded into eyeglasses or uh, other types of devices which can be wearable by different persons, or those can be conformal to the surfaces over which we want to install those optically transparent antennas. So these are the major references of the slides. So mainly, I have discussed the results which have been proposed in this first paper. So for more details, you can refer to this 2019 papers published in IEEE Antenna Propagation Magazine. This is a very good paper. So most of the part in the slides has been taken from first paper. Then these are some other references which I have used. With this, thank you very much for your attention. So now I will be referring to the chat